Hi, I'm E.D. Lewis, and welcome back to my channel, E.D. Lewis Reviews, or the new E.D. Lewis Reviews, as we're calling it for now. If you're new to the channel, welcome. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to talk about books. Some videos will talk about movies and books together, but, yeah, so before we get started, make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button and that little bell so you'll get notifications on my latest videos. And make sure to leave a comment down below because I love reading those comments. Alright, we are just over halfway through the month of January. My last video I did The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which was a children's novel. I don't know if I'm going to review any more children's novels or not. I mean, I tried it the first time around with Benicula when I talked about teen and children's fiction my first year on here, and I decided I'd try it again. I don't know if I'm going to do that again, but it was something a little different. I was trying something. It was an experiment. That's what this new year on BookTube is going to be, a little bit of experimentation. So, anyway, let's do a review of a book I read last year. I think it was in the late spring, early summer. Maybe it was late spring. I can't remember for sure, but it was The Tale of the Body Thief. It's the fourth one in the Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice. As many of you know, her passing last month had deeply affected me, and I mean, we also had the passing of Betty White, too, which did shock me quite a bit, but it didn't affect me as much as the passing of Anne Rice. She was my favorite author, and she will be greatly missed, as will Betty White, but for, of course, different reasons. So, I decided it was time to go ahead and review this book. I actually intended to review something before this, but I decided to push it back a little bit and go ahead and review an Anne Rice book. So, like I said, this is the fourth book in the Vampire Chronicles by Ms. Rice. It follows closely after The Queen of the Damned, which my review for that will be down below in the description, so do check that out. The book was written in 1992, or published in 1992, is Gothic horror, and I think I'm going to wait and talk about that afterwards, my thoughts on this. So in this book, Lestat is dealing with a few things. He's kind of going through a bit of a depression and stuff, and he's also dealing with a bizarre dream of his friend David Talbot, who got introduced at the ending of Queen of the Damned, as he is the basically the leader of the Talamasca. I think it was Grand Master is what they refer to him as. He's the Grand Master or something like that. Maybe he's like, he's the absolute bigwig in the Talamasca, the ones who investigate the supernatural. So he's dealing with that, and he also is dealing with, I think, coming to terms with a little bit of the, not having Claudia around, at least that's my interpretation of it, because he keeps seeing visions of her. And Lestat ultimately makes a decision. He's going to go and commit suicide. But shortly before all this happens, he notices, or keeps noticing, this stranger who doesn't seem to, he moves around rather oddly. Like, something's not quite right about him. Something unusual, supernatural. And Lestat's not quite sure why, but he also keeps getting all these packages at these places, his addresses that only he knows about. Someone is stalking him. Someone is tailing him and sending him short stories and movies that all have something in common. They have body switching going on in them. So Lestat is eventually given a proposal by this man named Raglan James that he is a body snatcher, so to say. He switches bodies with people, and he's offering Lestat an opportunity to be human again, and he wants to feel what it's like to be the vampire Lestat. Lestat ultimately makes a decision, and he switches bodies, discovering the pains of humanity, which really makes you think, is it really so bad being human? All these things we take for granted, having to eat, having to go to the bathroom, having, all these different things, feeling pain, all these things that we take, as part of life. Lestat is basically rediscovering. He's forgotten all these things, and now he's learning what it's like to be human again. And as the date approaches for them to switch back, something goes awry. His body is not where it should be, waiting for him to come back to it. Raglan James has taken off with the vampire Lestat. I hope you enjoyed my little bit of kind of a free-form synopsis. I decided not to write a formal synopsis and decided to freeform it a little bit, so that was a little bit of an experiment. This book takes place in 1991, starting off in Miami, so it's in summer, it's in beautiful Miami, so it's nice and warm, especially since we're in the cold months of January, at least where I am, in the Northern Hemisphere. So, yeah, and I mean, like I said, in my little synopsis, Lestat seems to learn what it's to be human, and for him, it's absolutely miserable. So it's like, I don't know if anybody's ever truly thought about being human. Is it being as miserable as he discovers it to be, and he sees it as quite disgusting at times, and yet he's when he's a vampire, he's so in love with human beings. So it's rather bizarre. But like I said, this takes place, maybe not right after. It does take place a bit, because the other one takes place in the 1980s, and this is in 1991, so it's been some years, and he's made friends with David Talbot, because the last time we'd seen David Talbot was in The Queen of the Damned at the ending of the book, and I know I didn't talk about that in my review, because that would have been a spoiler, so if you haven't read Queen of the Damned, a little bit of a spoiler there. We meet a new character, and Lestat makes friends with him, and he even offers him the Dark Gift. And multiple times, well, not multiple times, but a couple times, he kind of tries to push the Dark Gift onto David, and David he keeps refusing. He doesn't want to be immortal. He's lived his life. But there's an interesting little scene that I think has to do with a lot with the following book, which I have not read yet, which is Memnoch the Devil. Where we learn about David's past and stuff, and we learn how he became involved with the Talamasca. We learn more about the Talamasca, and also we learn, like I said, the history of David Talbot himself, including a little bizarre incident in a cafe years ago where he sees two divine beings, and he shouldn't see them. One of them is God, and one of them is the devil. And I found that scene to be very interesting. It's fairly early on in the book. It's, but it's absolutely fantastic. We see a lot of David Talbot in this book, and I really like the character of David. And I don't want to give anything away beyond what I said in my little synopsis. I believe I gave this book a 5-star review. I thought it was very good. This book has more of a plot than some Anne Rice's books do. I mean, like, Queen of the Damned didn't have a plot. It just kind of, took a while to get there, because it was more world building, and also kind of a retcon of world building from the prior two books. This one does have a little bit of that, but it's a little more plot. It has more of a plot. Maybe not as plot-oriented as some books are, but it's also very character-driven on Lestat and his experiences. But as his experiences continue, the plot thickens, and we have a major issue that happens, and Lestat has to try and figure out how is he going to go out solving this problem. So I thought it was very good. I absolutely loved it. I can't wait to read the next one, which is Memnoch the Devil. And I have it actually right here on the shelf next to me. That's my copy of Memnoch the Devil. So maybe I'll get around to reading that this year. It's a little different than my copy of Tale of the Body Thief. It was an old copy, and it has a step-back cover, so we have a nice scene of... I need to stop doing that. We're getting a lot of light. I decided to do something a little different with the lighting for this video. We get a nice sunny scene of Miami, Florida. So, but anyway, that is my review of The Tale of the Body Thief by Ms. Anne Rice. Luckily, we will get to read more of her writing that we haven't read already, that hasn't been, put out to the public soon, with the new release in her Ramses the Damned series. So that's very awesome. Like I said before, Anne Rice will be greatly missed, and yeah. So I just don't know what else I can say about it, because my heart, I think, literally cracked when I heard of her death, and it got me really bad. And there's a few times I ended up crying, and one of them was during a BookTube, or a fellow BookTuber of mine was doing a video on her, and I almost cried during that, and it was tough. I can't imagine what it's like for those who knew her and her family, and her friends, the people who worked with her and knew her very well. I cannot imagine what it's like for them. But so that was my review of The Tale of the Body Thief. Highly recommend this one. Yeah, it's really good, and it's a little different from her previous vampire books, so do check this one out if you are a fan of Anne Rice. Or, if you're interested in Anne Rice, definitely check this one out, and stick in there reading the series to get to this one. I've heard the next one's really good too. So, that's all I got for you this time around. I'll see you next time, and stay safe, stay warm, and keep on reading. See you next time. Bye-bye.